Hi, I'm Imogen Lamport from Bespoke Imogen Inside Out Style.
And I'm Chivers from Shop Your Wardrobe and my year without clothes shopping.
Now, we've just been talking about shopping, and one of the things that we both talk about is how do you plan to go shopping, and particularly with my clients when I go through their wardrobes. And what I often say is, when you're planning a shopping trip, I'll say, until you go shopping, every day when you get dressed and you're getting dressed and you're putting outfits together, often we'll have those, we don't realise we've got a hole until we just go, God, I need a brown cardigan to go with all my brown stuff because I haven't got a layer to keep warm. Or it'll be finding those holes where you just go, I actually haven't got anything that makes this work.
Yeah.
And I'll be going to write that down, because what most of us do is just head out to the shops without thinking about what we really need, and then end up bringing stuff home that we didn't need because we've already got, 10 pairs of black pants or 5 pairs of jeans, or I once saw 15 navy, black or grey men's V-neck jumpers in a woman's wardrobe.
That's hilarious. Preparing for shopping is really important. It's something we talk about in my year without clothes shopping as well. And one of the interesting statistics is if you prepare for a shopping trip, you generally buy about 40% less than if you don't. And the idea of having a list, which I know you advocate for your people as well, and knowing what it is, the needs that you are going to fill by this shopping trip, rather than being constantly pulled by all the external stimuli, which there's so many of those when you go shopping. It's an internally derived need that you're looking to fill, and that whole idea of saying, here's a gap in my wardrobe, rather than being driven to shop for any other reasons, because there's lots of unhealthy reasons that you can go shopping, but you want to be prepared.
Yes. I mean, we all have that experience though, where we do get prepared and we get to the shops and we've got the money and we've made the decision, we've got the list, and there just isn't anything there for us.
And what do you advocate under those circumstances?
Go home with nothing.
Yes.
Keep that money, because there's no point in going and buying something that you don't need that just ends up as more landfill. Yes. Because when you do actually find that great garment, you haven't got the money because you've spent it.
Yeah. What do you also say about the almost good enough things? Do you say, look, get it and it'll do for now, or do you encourage people to hold off until they get the best item they can?
Generally, I look at holding off. But there's no point in buying, almost, definitely, the reality is we've all got different body shapes, and manufacturers aren't making for your body or my body, so there'll be things sometimes that are great, they just need a small alteration.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. So if I go, if it fits and I love it and it just needs to be taken in at the waist a bit, that's absolutely something that, and it fills my hole and it fills my need, that's something worth buying.
Yeah.
But if it's a kind of almost, but I'm not really loving it, or there's something a bit wrong with it, and I see so many garments that are badly designed, that have pockets in the wrong spot that kind of wreck it, or there's all sorts of things, don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the other things that I encourage women to do in terms of preparation for shopping is financial preparation. So being aware of what your budget is and being aware of how you're going to pay. If you pay by a card, even using a debit card, you distance yourself a little bit from that purchase. And sometimes cash is better. You're better off taking cash so you feel every purchase that you make. And in that way, you're making, in a way, more of a commitment to those items. You're having less of a disposable attitude to the things that you're buying. Do you encourage women to think about those kinds of things when they prepare?
I suppose I do ask them to think about a budget, because then we'll talk about a budget, and that's going to affect the shops we go to, where we go, and I want to get the best quality for the money they have. So, whether it's looking at a factory outlet or, I want better quality rather than more cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
But money doesn't necessarily equate to quality, as we all know.
Oh, yes, we will have that experience, haven't we?
So, what do you tell people about how not to shop emotionally?
Yeah. Being aware of your emotional state is really important, because a lot of women we work with have emotionally triggered shopping. So they shop when they're a bit bored, they shop if they feel a bit lonely, sometimes they shop when they're upset, sometimes they shop when they feel good and they've got an elevated or a depleted emotional state, and you're not in a resourceful state to go shopping. You're not going to make the best long-term decisions. And they are not good states to go shopping in. So we encourage women to only go shopping when they're feeling emotionally buoyant and feeling resourceful, not when they're feeling triggered. And what we encourage women to do is, if you are feeling triggered, find something else to do, and only go shopping when you're feeling like you're really ready for it. And also be aware of the time that you go shopping in, because shopping can be fatiguing and it can be stressful for some women. So be aware of that so that you don't extend yourself and end up buying things at the end of your shopping trip, for example, because you're a bit frustrated, you haven't found something like we were talking about before, and you feel you have to go home with something. You don't want to go shopping in that state.
Also, I'd also say is limit your shopping trips. I don't find 2 hours. 2 hours is about as much as most people can handle.
Yes.
And go when the shops aren't crowded. Don't go on a Saturday afternoon.
Yes.
Go, make it a Tuesday morning.
Yes, exactly.
Go when you're well hydrated, that you've eaten.
Yes.
If you're tired or hungry or emotional, shopping you're just going to find frustrating.
Yeah.
Also too, is make sure maybe sometimes it's a list the help from the staff, but when you're only allowed to take 5 things into a change room, you're likely to try on those 5 things. If they don't work, you just go, I hate shopping, or I can't be bothered, or I'll just buy something because I've taken one of my 5 things in.
Yeah.
Those people are often will, give you a lot more than 5 if you talk to them nicely.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have a much better experience, and you're going to be much more likely to find the great thing when you've tried on way more things.
Yeah.
So that's something also that's important.
Maybe what we should talk about in another video is the during shopping experience, because there's so many pitfalls to avoid and things to be aware of to make the actual shopping experience the most positive and productive. So maybe that's something we should talk about in another video.
Sounds great, Jill.